Namaste students. Let me tell you about a famous management professor. Although this professor operates outside the academic world. I'm talking about Mr. K.V. Kamath. You might have heard his name or read about him in news over the years. He has been at the helm of the banking sector for the 4 decades. He was named as CEO of ICICI Bank after serving the bank for about 25 years. You might be wondering, why do I call him a professor? Well, that's because he used to deliver management lessons to his employees who worked with him. He not only guided his employees, he not only instructed his employees, rather he mentored them. He guided them, he motivated them in such a way that they become fully committed to the organization. An ICICI executive who often got rides with Mr. Kamath discovered that that was his best time when Kamath used to take out so many innovative ideas from his repertoire of knowledge. Mr. Kamath used to treat each day as a teaching opportunity. Over time, this approach of Kamath has transformed the ICICI Bank into a hothouse of leadership talent. The ICICI Bank has become the India's most innovative bank. His employees said that he not only mentored the employees, he not only instructed the employees, rather he dealt with them in such a way that all the employees, they together come up as a team. Additionally, he emphasized on intensive ongoing of one-to-one direct reports, either in general, either in person or virtually. It was Mr. Kamath's approach that transformed the bank into India's most innovative and the biggest bank. I would like to tell you that when an employee works in an organization, what do he expect from his employer? He expects that his employer not only gave him directions, not only gave him instructions, rather tries to understand his position, tries to understand its problem very well. And that's what Mr. Kamath did. He believed that one need to take an innovative team spirit and push it to a level where change, where knowledge sharing becomes a part of organizational culture. So, does that ring the bell about what are we going to learn about today? Interestingly, we are going to start with a new chapter, that is directing. We are going to start directing and its elements. So, directing is the key function of management. Directing is the heart of the management. Now, let me put it formally. Directing refers to the process of instructing, guiding, counseling, motivating, and leading people in an organization. In simple language, I should say that directing not only means just to give orders, just to instruct the employees what is to be done, rather guiding them, motivating them, and counseling them as and when required. So guiding is an ongoing process, because a manager just can't rest after giving the instructions. He needs to be with the employees. He needs to mentor the employees. He needs to guide the employees. He needs to supervise them in such a way that they come up together as a team. So now let's discuss the features of management. The first feature of directing is pervasive function. You might have established this function in all the functions of management, whether it is a planning, whether it is organizing, whether it is staffing. This function prevails in all the functions of management. And by now you might have understood the meaning of this term, pervasive function. Pervasive function means that directing exists at all the level of management, whether it is a top level, middle level or bottom level management. We find that at all the process, at all the levels of management, a superior always directs a subordinate. So directing is a pervasive function. Next is, directing is a continuous process. As I told you in my introductory story, that Mr. Kamath, he didn't rest merely after giving the instructions to the subordinates. Rather, he guided them, motivated them, and mentored them as and when required. So, relating to that story, relating from that point to this point, we can say that directing is a continuous process. The directing goes on throughout the lifetime of the organization. Next is directing flows from top to bottom. What do I tell you just now? That directing doesn't mean only giving instructions to the employees. So now just give a thought to this thing, that who gave instructions and to whom? It's the superior who gives instructions to the subordinates. So what we can conclude from this, we can say that till the time superior subordinate relationship is there, we can find out directing everywhere. So directing flows from top to bottom, because the superior always gives the instructions to the subordinate. It is the superior who guides the subordinate. It is the superior who mentored the subordinates. He is a superior who motivated, who counseled the subordinates. So directing flows from top to bottom. Now the next topic is importance of directing. Before starting this topic, I would like to put up one more story. Have you ever heard about Post-its? Post-its are the sticky notes which you might have used in making notes or making some reminders. Ever wondered who came up with the idea? Yes, it is an employee. This suggestion was given by an employee who was working in a company, and the name of the company is 3M, and the name of the employee is Arthur Fry. He is the one who gave the suggestion to his employer that we should start making sticky notes. But how did he give the suggestion? From where does this idea came from? A scientist who worked at 3M accidentally discovered an adhesive, accidentally discovered a semi-glue, and he wasn't sure what to do with that. He had no idea what to do with this. Then he approached to the management that accidentally I discovered this adhesive. Now what to do with that? Then the employer who believed that a company runs only when the suggestions of the employees are welcomed. The employer should know this thing, that the organization will run in a proper way, in a prosperous way, when the voices of the employees will be heard in the organization. He shared this idea with all his employees that accidentally we have discovered this adhesive and now we don't know what to do with that. Then Arthur Fry gave an idea that why can't we use this adhesive on a piece of paper and let's see whether it worked or not. And that's how the famous sticky notes was born. And you won't believe that these sticky notes has been the famous source of earning for the company 3M for the last 4 decades and counting. So what do I mean with this story? Why did I explain this story to you? Just to tell you this thing, that effective directing often comes. Effective directing comes when the superior welcomes all the ideas given by the subordinates. So now here we start with the importance of directing. The first is directing initiates action. In the process of planning, in the process of organizing, in the process of staffing, you have understood this thing. All these 3 functions of management, they lay a base. They always set a base for action. Directing is the only function of management which practically implements all the plans. In planning, we decide what we have to do. In organizing, we are dividing the same work among the employees. In staffing, we are going to put up the employees in that positions which are vacant. So now after putting up the employees at all the vacant positions, now it's the employees ultimately who have to perform the things. It means directing initiates the action. And how it initiates the action? Because directing at this point only, the employees are actually or practically going to implement all the plans. Because in this process only, the manager will instruct all the employees that what they have to do, where they have to do, and how they have to do. Next comes integrates employees' effort. You can relate this point with the story which I shared with you all. We have integrated the employees' efforts. Integrating employees' efforts means we have assumed or we have adopted the suggestion which was given by an employee, and we can see the result of that suggestion also. The famous sticky notes what has been used all over the world. It means directing. This is the importance of directing only. That it's just because of this process only we can integrate the employees' efforts, or we can integrate all the employees with the organization. Together we can come up as a team. Next is guides employees. As I told you in the first story which was of Mr. Kamath. Under that story, or in that story, what did we learn? We learned about that how Mr. Kamath, he motivated, he counseled, and he guided all the employees. Because if we don't guide them, if we don't motivate them well on time, then they feel as if they are not the part of the organization. They lack motivation. They'll not work with full dedication. So we need to guide all the employees as per the requirement of the time. The next is facilitates introduction of change. See, change is the law of the nature, and it's a human tendency to resist the change. We always feel that why there's a need of change? Why can't we go on a same path? Why there's a need to change the path all the time? So, whenever change is required, it is the duty of the leader to facilitate that change, or to bring that change in such a way in the organization that no employee should resist it. You can take one example of the banks. When the computers was introduced in the early 90s, then all the employees were not well versed with the use of computers. They resisted. They didn't want to use the computers because that wasn't their cup of tea. So in that case, the employer had to motivate them in such a way, had to train them in such a way that they can accept this change in a positive way. So it is the duty of the manager to facilitate change in the organization. And the last point is directing brings stability. You might have heard this thing, or you might have heard this word reconciliation. We have done a chapter on this also, that is bank reconciliation statement. What is reconciliation? Reconciliation means to come up at the point where two parties with different opinions, they agree to one point. Fine. Now as an employee, what do you want? You want higher salary, you want better perks, you want flexibility. But think from the point of view of an employer. What do an employer want? That a person who is working in the organization should be fully committed to the organization. He should take into consideration the general interest over the one's interest, or over the individual's interest. So now you can see it very well that the needs, that the interest of both the parties are different. At times a situation comes when there's a clash between the parties. So in that case, directing will take the lead. So in that case, the employee had to listen to the employer, and employer had to motivate the employees in such a way that there should be harmonious relationship between the employee and the employer. So in that case, the role of directing is of utmost importance. Why? Because directing, the manager under this function, or the manager will direct the employees in such a way, or will guide them in such a way, will counsel them in such a way that they can accept to all the changes. And then the clash between the manager and the employee, or the employer and the employee, will come to an end. So I hope this topic, the directing, its meaning, features and importance is clear to you. Let me recap it. Directing refers to the process where the employer not only instructs the employee, rather he guides them, he motivates them, he mentors them in such a way that they become fully committed to the organization. Directing is a pervasive function. Pervasive means directing prevails at all the level of management, whether it is top level, middle level or bottom level. Directing is a continuous function. Continuous function means directing will never end merely after giving the instructions. Rather, a manager had to be with the employees with regular intervals or at regular intervals. Directing flows from top to bottom. It means that a manager just can't rest after giving the instructions, and instructions are always given by a superior to a subordinate. Instructions are given by a superior to a subordinate only. That's why the process of directing flows from top to bottom. And to explain you the importance of directing, I had explained you a story. I had narrated a story on post-its, which are just the sticky notes which you used. So, directing initiates action. How? Because the manager directs the employees what to do, how to do, and when to do. Because under the process of planning, organizing and staffing, we are just setting up the base. Then directing integrates employees' efforts. Integrating employees' efforts means to welcome all the suggestions which are given by the employees. Guides employees. Guiding employees means to telling them, to motivating them and to counsel them as and when required. Facilitating introduction of change. Again, I tell you the same thing, that change is always resisted by the people. So in that case, the manager had to take the position, or manager had to take the charge in such a way that he motivates all the employees, and in such a way that they can accept all the changes in a positive way. And the last of all, brings stability. It means a manager always tries to, a manager should try to remove all the clashes between the employer and the employee, so that a peaceful and a harmonious relationship can exist in an organization. Thank you. Let us start with the first element of directing, that is supervision. The word supervision comprises of two words, super and vision. Super means over and above. Vision means art of seeing objects. Supervision is basically a process by which a person who is appointed keeps an eye on all the employees. He checks whether all the employees are working properly or not, whether they are doing their work on time or not, whether they are efficiently using all the resources. So a person who does supervision is known as supervisor. A supervisor is a link, or he acts as a link between the management and the employees. He is a mediator between the employees of the company and the management of the company. He is the only one who is in direct contact with the employees. If supervisor will not be there, then the manager, the general manager of the company has to be in touch with the employees on daily basis, which is practically not possible. So, a manager appoints a person who is going to supervise all the employees, who is going to keep an eye on them, who is going to check them. So, today we'll be discussing about the importance or the functions of supervisor in an organization. That why do we need a supervisor? What is its role? The first point of importance is that he maintains day-to-day contact. As I told you one thing, that a supervisor, he is in touch with the employees. He guides them. He acts as a friend, philosopher and guide, because manager can't be there all the time. So he need to have a second authority, that is supervisor, who can give instructions to the employees. A supervisor receives instructions from manager, then supervisor gives instruction to the employees. So the hierarchy is like this: manager, supervisor and employees. So manager is not in direct contact with the employees. It's the supervisor who had a direct and a close contact. That's why a supervisor acts as a friend, philosopher and guide. Next is gives feedback. As I told you that supervisor act as a link between the management and the employees. So it is a supervisor, he is a supervisor only who gives feedback about the performance of the employees to the management. He not only give the feedback, rather give their suggestions, their ideas and their opinions also to the management. He acts as a mediator. Next is ensures performance of work. Now it is a supervisor only who is going to keep in check on you people that whether you are performing your task well on time or not, whether you are achieving your targets or not, whether you are utilizing the resources of the company, material resources of a company in an efficient way. So a supervisor ensures performance of work also. He made all the workers, he guides all the workers in such a way that they work with their 100% commitment, with their full dedication and ensures no wastage. Then supervisor provides on-the-job training. See, training is of two types. One is on the job, other is off the job. On the job training means when you train all the employees while doing the job. It means with the job, when training is given to the employees, it is known as on the job training. So this task of providing on the job training to the employees is done by the supervisor. Supervisor tells them about their mistakes and the ways by which they can rectify them, by which they can improve their performance. So supervisor provides on the job training. Then the last point is supervisor acts as a link between workers and management. As I told you that he is going to act as a mediator. He is going to communicate all the instructions which he got from the manager to the employees. He is going to implement all the plans and policies which are framed by the manager. He is going to follow all the instructions which are given by the manager to the employees. He receives order from manager and delivers the same order to the workers and ensure that whether they are doing their work as per the task which is being given to them, they are utilizing the resources properly or not. So he acts as a link between the management and the worker. Then supervisor also tries to get group unity. See, you might have understood this thing by now that whenever people they work together, clashes exists. Why? Because all the people, they have different bent of mind. They have different thinking. They have different needs and priorities. So it may happen that a need of the one person clashes with the need of some other person. So to have a harmonious relationship in the organization, so to have a group unity, to have a kind of team spirit in the organization, the supervisor acts as a leader. So the thing which I want to make you understand is that the supervisor sorts out the internal differences among the workers. I hope the topic is clear to you. We discussed about supervision. Supervision means to keep an eye or to keep a check on all the employees. And why it is required? Because so that we can maintain day-to-day contact with the employees as well as with the management. The supervisor is going to have a direct contact with the employees and he forward the suggestions, complaints, ideas, problems to the management. Then he gives feedback also. Feedback in terms of that whether the employees have performed their task efficiently or not. He ensures performance of work, that whether all the employees are working or not, and he suggests them various ideas and ways to improve their performance if they are operating or if they are working below the given standards or below the given benchmark. Then he provides on-the-job training to employees also so that they can work effectively. Then he acts as a link between the workers and the management. And lastly, he used to sort out all the types of ego issues or all the problems which might exist between the workers in a positive way, so that together everybody can grow up as a team and the organization would survive. I hope the topic is clear to you all. Thank you.